Company in the Above and Beyond Salute.
Is this Sherry? I'm sorry about waking you up, but can I at least make it up to you by giving you free lunch over at Firehouse Subs?
Yeah.
All right. This individual that had reached out to us anonymously also mentioned that on top of being a third grade teacher and on top of volunteering all the time, you're also a mother of 5. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's probably why I woke you up, huh?
Yeah.
The Above and Beyond Salute on News Talk KVNU.
Did you know that the coronavirus can damage the inner ear, leading to chronic dizziness and tinnitus, which is a constant ringing or buzzing noise? But there's hope. For help and more information, call 800-837-8428 or visit liferebalanced.org and discover a life rebalanced. That's 800-837-8428 or liferebalanced.org. Sponsored by the Vestibular Disorders Association.
It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only 2 things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Go! Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
Good morning and welcome to the show on a beautiful Saturday morning. If you've already had a chance to be outside a little bit this morning, you know that it's just gorgeous out there. Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden joining us in the studio. I'm Will Feelright, and it's just a great weekend, Mark.
Oh, absolutely. I was out working in the garden last night till it got dark, and then I got up this morning before the show and did a couple more things and had to adjust some soaker hoses because they weren't working properly.
Okay, yeah,
or they're popping hoses like holes. So this week we've been dealing with older soaker hoses that
kind of start to
just
deteriorate.
Keep popping holes. Yeah, it's just I fixed 8 holes this week on 4 hoses. So it's dang it. All right, maybe time for some new hoses.
And for those of us that have sprinkler systems, it's also a great time to just double check and make sure those sprinklers are working.
Hitting where they're supposed to. Because I went to somebody's house the other day, and they're like, "Oh, sprinklers are working." And it's got to be bugs. And I'm like, "I haven't seen bugs yet this year." It's just I haven't seen any. So it's possible, but I just haven't seen any bug damage yet. And I go out there, and their lawn was nice and moist all the way through, except for that one spot, and it was just dry. And the sprinklers were not covering, or they were hitting it, and they were running off and going somewhere else, so it wasn't penetrating in. So it's a great time to check your sprinklers because stuff grows and plants get bigger and mower hits the sprinkler head. And there's just a lot of different things that can happen. And all of a sudden sprinklers are working yesterday
and now they're not
aren't working today. Yeah. And so then you start to have, water problems in areas where oh, the lawn's been really good. I don't know why it's not looking great now. It's sometimes the sprinklers don't work. We had a sprinkler that was errant at our house, and instead of spraying the area it was supposed to, it had decided to spray the exact opposite area. Oh. So I was spraying my truck instead. I was just man, there's a lot of hard water on my truck. So where is it coming from? It was the sprinklers. So that's just
it's going AWOL.
Yeah, they just do their own thing sometimes. Yeah. So it's a great idea to get out there, especially if your sprinklers are going off really early in the morning or late at night. And you wake up in the morning and the sidewalk's wet, so you go, "Oh, sprinklers worked great," but that means the sidewalk's wet, not that the sprinkler did its job.
Yeah,
and so it's important that you check them periodically throughout the summer to make sure that they are watering the correct locations, which is very, very vital. Lots happening downtown this weekend. Sidewalk sale. There was people all over the place last night downtown. There was a concert at the Lob Plaza. There was a activity at the
Cafe Ibis.
At the Ibis, there was what else? Seemed like there was a show at the theater. So at the Eccles Theater,
yeah.
there was a show. So there was a ton of stuff going on downtown, as well as the sidewalk sale. So sidewalk sale's going again today. So it's been going since Thursday, and there's some great deals. And some fun things to check out.
Going to continue until about 6 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, 6 o'clock tonight. And at Anderson's, the stuff that we decided to put on sale for the sidewalk sale are all of our trees and shrubs and vines and evergreens and roses are all 20% off for the sidewalk sale. So we've got great specials going on: trees and shrubs, vines, evergreens, roses, and the fruit trees are still 25% off. So we've got a good deal on the fruit trees as well. So a lot of really good plants on sale. Of course, what's left in our one greenhouse, there's some vegetable plants. They're 25 cents, and there's a few flowers, and I think they're 25 cents too. And we've got the bloomed out perennial table that's like 50% off as well too. So a lot of good deals happening at Anderson's this weekend for the sidewalk sale.
Very cool.
Yeah, sidewalk sale. And then next week is our Mad Money sale.
That'll start next week.
Starts on Monday, the 14th. Yeah, so that starts on the 14th and goes all the way through next weekend. So 14th through the 19th, or maybe it's the 20th. I'd have to look at the calendar. But Monday through Saturday next week.
Okay.
That's the best way to remember. You have Mad Money sale. And if you don't know what the Mad Money is for every $10 that you've spent in the store from March 1st until now, you get $1 back in Mad Money to use during our Mad Money sale. And the Mad Money sale is Monday through Saturday of next week. And you can come in, and we've got a record of how much money you've accumulated. If you've been giving us your phone number or your customer number when you're checking out, it'll automatically accumulate that for you. And if you've spent, say, $200 in the store, you'll have $20 in Mad Money to come in. And you can use the Mad Money for up to half of your purchase. And that's not just on the regular price items. That's on stuff that's on sale already. And so if our trees and shrubs and vines and evergreens and roses are 20% off next week, which they will be, then you'll get to use the Mad Money on top of the sale prices that you're getting already.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so fruit trees 25% off, and then you can use your Mad Money. So if you want to buy a fruit tree, it's regularly $75. It's 25% off, which will make it, like 60, a little bit less than that, 55. And then if you've got $20 in Mad Money, you could take another $20 off of that. And you spend $35 for a tree, you get it basically for half price.
Half price.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how the Mad Money works. And like I said, you can use your Mad Money for up to half of your purchase. And it's good on everything in the store except special order items that we don't have in stock. Seeds. So bulk seeds, can't use it on the bulk seeds, and you can't use it on gift cards as well too. So it's basically you can use it on anything except for gift cards, bulk seeds, and special order items that we have to bring in just specifically for that particular transaction. So Mad Money sale next week, the 14th through the 19th. Sidewalk sale going on this weekend. So lots of great things happening at Anderson's.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we're looking to take your phone calls, too, this morning. We got a lot to talk about. We got to talk about grasshoppers later on this morning. A lot of plants beginning to bloom. A lot of fruit actually already being harvested. Vegetables are coming on. Yes. And so we'll get into all of that this morning. But phone lines are open, and we'll take those calls first. 435-753-5868. That's 435-753-KVNU. And let's go out to the phone lines as we have Kathy joining us on the line from Dayton. Welcome to the show, Kathy.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm looking at my Italian plum tree right now. And there is a branch that the closer to the trunk of the tree, the deader things are getting. But interestingly, when you're at the end of the branch, there's lots of lots of plums growing, and there's leaves, and it all looks healthy.
Interesting.
It's just, I'm sitting here staring at this. I went out the other day to keep thinning the plums, and it's like it's dying.
Are the leaves curled up, or are they just turning brown and falling off?
No, they're not. There's just branches with no leaves on them.
Leaves on them. Are they lower branches, or are they up higher?
It's just about 6 foot high.
Oh, so it's not too big then. It's not too big then.
The tree is higher than that. The tree's probably 12 feet high.
But where the leaves are gone are like closer.
Yeah. It's just like I walked out here the other day and went, what in the world?
Yeah. I may have to have you take some pictures and bring those in, or just email them to me so I can take a look at it and see, because most diseases would affect more than just one little section of the tree. And, if it's a nutrient deficiency, it would affect more than just one little section of the tree. It usually shows up in the newest growth first, not the older growth. But there are some.
And most of the rest of it really
looks
there's
great and healthy.
Plant.
That usually leads me to believe it's like a critter of some sort, and so. Believe it or not, there's all kinds of critters running around. It's like skunks and porcupines and things.
Squirrels.
Squirrels even that can do some damage to the trees. But without seeing, I can't really tell for sure.
Okie doke. How late are you in today?
I'm there. Actually, today I have to go to a funeral. And
sorry.
Yeah, it's our good friend Gordon. Yeah. And so, kind of wanted to dedicate the show to Gordon today because he would call in, and he was such a great friend for so many years and such a great customer, and kind of got to go to that today, but I'll be there all afternoon. So probably from 1 o'clock until we close. I'll be there at the store.
And what time do you close? I'm never there in the afternoon.
We close at 6 on Saturdays. Yeah. So I'll be there until 6. Bring a sample, bring some photos. I would suspect it's some sort of outside source that's causing the issue, instead of like the tree having a disease or a nutrient deficiency, or, it could be insects, but usually they're more towards the exterior instead of on the interior of the tree. Could be caterpillars. We're starting to see a lot of like army worms and tent caterpillars and stuff showing up, and they will defoliate the tree in like a couple days. Like it'll just.
And I bet that's what it is, because, I was out here a week ago doing the same thing and never noticed anything, and all of a sudden I'm going, what happened to my tree?
Those little caterpillars, when they hatch, they are voracious, and they will just eat like crazy, and just whole branches of leaves will just like disappear. But then the rest of the tree would look perfectly fine, and so that is a possibility also. So as you take pictures, look a little bit closer, see if you can see, take a picture of the spots that are looking not good, and then adjacent to those areas, so I can kind of see, where the transition zone is from the good to the bad.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. I'm sorry about your friends.
Yeah. Darn it. Yep. Darn it. Thanks, Kathy.
Phone lines are open.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
435-753-5868. 435-753-KVNU. You mentioned earlier of and one thing I'm seeing a lot around our neighborhood is leaves curling.
Yes.
A little bit, especially as we're in these hot summer days.
And so the best leaves curling in different directions mean different things. And so the edges of the leaves curling down, so if the edges are kind of curling downwards and rolling down, it's usually an indication you've got an insect of some sort. Usually it's aphids, but it could be thrips, it could be spider mites can cause it a little bit as well too, but the edges will kind of curl downwards. There's a couple caterpillars that'll do that as well too. They'll kind of curl the leaf roller. It'll kind of roll the leaves down. But then if the leaves are cupping, where it looks like it could hold water, where the edges are coming up instead of going down, that's more of a stress issue. And sometimes stress can be caused by not enough water. Sometimes it can be caused by heat and wind. Sometimes it can be caused by too much water. And so we're seeing a lot of samples of trees where people are coming in. They're like, God, I know what's wrong with my tree. I've been like watering it a lot to try and, perk it back up. And they're watering it too much.
Too much.
Yeah, too much. And so then it's like drowning because it's never drying out in between. It's just staying soggy and wet all the time. So we have seen tons and tons and tons of aphids this year. So aphids have been very, very aggressive. So those will really curl the leaves down, especially on plum trees. So when Kathy mentioned she had a plum and was having problems, I'm like, it's probably aphids. But then as she described what was going on, it's like, okay, no, it's not aphids. But definitely could be caterpillars, because they will just defoliate sections of the trees in a very short amount of time. So that is a possibility. Or it could be a climbing rodent.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things. Well, and one thing that we noticed is that we sprayed about a month ago and knocked down all of the insects in the garden and our fruit trees, but that's been a month. And 7, particularly like what we use, that won't last much longer, and it's time to do it again. So if you sprayed earlier on in the season, definitely time to spray again.
And it is time to spray for the next generation of codling moth. And so the USU Extension has put out their recommendations for July, and we're right in the middle of the second hatch. Well, not right in the middle. It's just starting. So second hatch is just starting. And so if you did your first application the first part of June, it's time for the second application, and right now. So like within the next week is when you want to spray. And since it is hotter, I highly recommend, if possible, you spray in the evening instead of in the morning, so that it has all night to dry before it gets hot again the next day, especially if you're using like a little horticultural or dormant oil in with it to control like San Jose scale or some of the other insects. And we'll do that sometimes. So I'll take like my 7 or my Sayonara or my fruit tree spray, and we'll add a little bit of oil to it to control some insects that show up during the summer that the insecticides don't really work that well on, but the oil works great. But the oil can burn your leaves, especially when it's like 90 degrees. So you got to be a little bit careful with it. So it's best if you can spray in the evening when it's cooler. It's got all day to dry. And make sure that your tank is agitated really well, because the oil kind of floats to the
settles.
Yeah. Well, it floats to the top, and then as you're spraying, it pulls the liquid from the bottom, and so then what's on top gets kind of extra concentrated as you get to the bottom, and then you spray, and then all of a sudden you're putting too much oil on,
and you have one area that got nothing but
damaged.
Oil.
Yeah. So we've seen it before where people are like, I sprayed my whole orchard and everything's great until I get to this last little section, and then the leaves are all burned. I can't figure out what's going on. It's like, well, how well was your sprayer agitating? And they're like, oh, you can get a sprayer that has an agitator in it. It's like, well, yeah, because the oils will float.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when you get to the bottom of your tank, you've got double, triple, quadruple the amount of oil that's in the mix because it's not staying in solution. So you got to kind of watch for that too. But time to spray for codling moth on apples and pears. So like right now. And we like the Lambda Silohethrin from High Yield. We like the fruit tree spray from Fertilum if you want an organic option. Spinosad, also organic. That would be great. And the Sayonara and the 7 are excellent. They have a little bit longer residual, so you don't have to spray as frequently, which is really, really nice. And like you said, the grasshoppers are getting bad again.
Yeah. Yep.
So
not only do you want to be spraying your property, but you may want to also just kind of spray out around your property too.
Yep. And mosquitoes cropping up, and it sounds like we had our first West Nile virus like located in Cache Valley, not in people, but in the mosquitoes.
Mosquito traps,
themselves.
Yeah,
So,
the Mosquito Abatement District contacted us last night. They had just received the report back and said they had two traps in the valley.
That they'd caught. So good time to put repellent out, keep your mosquitoes away, and then if you need to spray for mosquitoes, permethrin's one of the very best because it not only kills the mosquitoes, but it actually repels them as well too. And I don't think there's anyone who has figured out why the permethrin repels and kills at the same time, but it really does. And so it's very, very effective on it works on grasshoppers, but it's
especially good on mosquitoes. It's
really great for mosquitoes, and it's safe to use on fruits and vegetables, and it's safe for people. So what we recommend is, again, spray in the evening so it's fresh when the mosquitoes come out, and then try and stay out of it while it's wet. Once it dries, you're good to go.
You're fine.
Yeah, good to go back out there. So it's a very low toxicity product for people, but very effective on a lot of different insects. Yeah.
It's always a good time too at night to spray because the bees have already gone
home for the night. Yep.
So you don't have to worry about possibly.
It's just
hurting the bees.
It's cool and it's more comfortable for you as well too. But then you have all night for your insecticide to dry, and so then you're much less likely for it to cause phototoxicity and have some problems with it burning the plants during the day when it's really hot. And sometimes if you spray early morning, it's still wet by the time the sun starts to get intense, and it can burn your plants a little bit. Okay. So I think a couple of my tomatoes that I had to water in the morning, I had a little bit of extra fertilizer in the compost tea. I'm trying to get my giant pumpkins growing faster. So, sometimes there's a little extra. It goes on the tomato plants and the burnt some of the leaves a little bit.
It did.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. But the fertilizer is a little heftier for the pumpkins than it is for the tomatoes.
It's like Red Bull, right?
Yeah, exactly. But I've got 2 pumpkins that are probably they're bigger than softballs, but they're not as big as volleyball.
Okay.
So they're coming, and that's on each plant. So I got to decide which one's going to be the best, and then take the other ones off. So I was super excited about it last night, and so I messaged my friend in Wyoming, who's also a giant pumpkin grower. He actually won the contest 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So Jay Richards, and I messaged him, and he's out in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming, and he's got a greenhouse, and he's like, here's mine. It's going to be 500 pounds tomorrow. Oh. I was like, man.
That's cheating.
I know. Well, if you got a greenhouse, you can start them on. His plants are like, bigger than this room right now. It's like, it's just massive. And he's got like a 500-pound pumpkin out there. And I'm like,
and you're
mine's
pretty proud
awesome.
about your baseball.
It's bigger than one I had last year. It's doing great. It's almost volleyball size. He's like, yeah, mine's 500 pounds.
Yeah, well,
my smallest one's like 400,
In Jay's defense, though, in Wyoming, you can't grow anything.
No,
if it's not in a greenhouse.
He'll send me pictures of him out in his greenhouse in the middle of the winter, you know, and he doesn't really heat it in the wintertime, but he's got grass growing in there in the wintertime because he'll use it as a cover crop. So he's got like a winter rye or winter wheat or something out there. And so he'll send pictures of him, laying out in his grass in his greenhouse on a nice sunny day in the middle of winter, and it's like 20 degrees outside and it looks like it's summer inside. And then before he plants his pumpkins, he'll till it all in. So he'll incorporate it all into the soil. So it really enriches the soil and breaks it down the clay. And I mean, it's a really great way to do it. But he's inside his greenhouse, and I'm just going, man, wow. $20,000 greenhouse for growing a stupid pumpkin. I just can't justify it.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. But,
phone lines are open, and we'd love to take your calls, your comments, questions about your garden. If you've got insect problems in your garden, or maybe you're dealing with some of these diseases that we were talking about earlier with Kathy, 435-753-KVNU is the phone number. 435-753-5868. Now, a lot of fruit trees coming on, and one of the problems that we were dealing with this week...
Cherries.
Yeah. You got cherries coming on, and then a lot of trees, especially if they're younger trees, you got to really watch out for those limbs starting to take on some weight, and they start to droop.
Yeah. As the fruit starts to get bigger, all of a sudden your branches are like bending over to the ground, then it like splits the tree off. So important to thin your fruit.
Yeah.
And so on apples and pears, what we recommend is one fruit every 6 to 8 inches. So if you got a cluster of fruit, you want to pull some of that off so that there's one fruit every 6 to 8 inches. And if you do that, your fruit will be bigger, it will taste better, the quality will be better, it will last longer because it's getting all the strength that it needs. Otherwise, if you leave all the fruit on there, you can cause problems with the branches breaking, just like you've suggested, or you're just going to get a whole bunch of small fruit.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be as good a quality, and they're going to be smaller, and there's going to be a lot of them, but it doesn't really help when you want to store apples for the winter and you've got a whole bunch of really small apples.
And they're just bigger than cherries.
Yeah. And if you don't thin them, then all of a sudden your trees are going into like a every other year cycle because they like produce so much one year, then they don't have enough strength to really get things going again the next year. And so then there's not any fruit the next year. So then the year after that, they produce a whole bunch. And then if you don't thin them, then all of a sudden you're really into a every other year cycle. Yeah. And most of the trees should be producing every single year, not every other year.
Yeah. Well, and especially if you have a younger tree. I went out and I thinned our peach tree for the first time. I took off 92 blossoms, and I was crying with each one. And even after that, Mark, I've still got to where as these fruit have developed, the ones that I left on the tree, it's still just making that tree top heavy. So
so
we went out and
take more.
Started to thin it again, and then also to strengthen it with some stakes and some ropes, just to allow it to be able to stay strong.
My donut peach, I've thinned it 3 times this year. 3 times because it just had so much fruit on it.
Just kept coming.
That it's just like I thinned it, and I was like, oh, that did a pretty good job. And then all of a sudden the fruit gets bigger, and I was like, oh no, it's like I gotta do it again. Yeah, and so every time the fruit gets bigger, it's like, oh crap, I should have probably taken more off. So
yeah. So it's definitely a good idea to go out as you are out in your fruit trees. Just continue to thin them. And especially watch for fruit that's maybe developed a little damage. Yeah. So that's what I did this last time. It's like I went through the tree, and it's like some of the fruit was a little bit too close. So they were like rubbing up against each other, and so it's like, okay, I got to take one of those off. So I'd look and say, okay, this one's got kind of a scar on this side, and this one looks perfect. The scarred one disappeared. Yeah, and I'm probably still gonna have to thin that tree one more time because every time I go out there and I look at it, I go, oh, I missed that branch right there. It's like, it's like there's more on there. But my apricots are going crazy, and I've got tons of peaches on all my peach trees, and the apples and pears are pretty loaded too. So it's like we're pretty excited about it. But got to spray for codling moth, and if you're spraying for codling moth, it's a good time to throw a little bit of disease control in as well too. So Fungicide 5, copper soap would really help if there's powdery mildew showing up. We're starting to see mildew, and it will help with a lot of other diseases like leaf spots and different things. So really not a bad idea to spray your stone fruits at the same time. And, the insecticide's not really necessary unless you've got aphids or thrips or something bothering those trees. But it's never a bad idea to use a little extra disease control on your stone fruits because they always tend to pick up diseases like crazy, stupid things. All right. Well, we've got a lot still to talk about, and we'll be right back as we'll be talking about the sidewalk sale. And then we want to take a few minutes, too, to talk about one of our loyal listeners who we lost this past week. And kind of mourning reflecting on some of the great memories that we had with Gordon Anderson, and that'll be coming up in the next half hour. And, of course, we can take more of your calls at 435-753-KVNU for the Garden Guide. With your KVNU News headlines here at the bottom of the hour, I'm Will Fiore. More than $40 million in federal education funding is now on hold in Utah, leaving school districts uncertain about the fate of programs for some of the state's most vulnerable students. Now, the U.S. Department of Education paused 6 grant programs without warning back on July 1st. Now, this affects aid for migrant students, English learners, and programs for after-school services and adult education. Now, a letter from the White House to the Utah State Board of Education stated that the freeze is to ensure taxpayer resources are spent in accordance with the president's priorities. Now, there's no timeline for when the review will be completed. The State Board of Education has notified districts advising them that while no immediate action is needed, the situation is evolving. Now, the funding pause comes as districts are finalizing their budgets for the upcoming school year. And do you think you have what it takes to be the Valley's best grill master? Well, Hyde Park City has organized a contest to find out, as KVNU's new reporter Carter Chatterton has the story.
The city of Hyde Park is looking for 12 contestants to compete in their Hyde Porker Barbecue Contest July 18th. City Council member Stephanie Allred joined us on KVNU's For the People to tell us about this competition.
We have it judged on appearance, taste, and tenderness. And so if you're good at that, you should probably enter.
Applicants must send an email to hydeporker@gmail.com and pay the $35 entry fee. They will have the opportunity to show off their backyard barbecue skills at the city's Hometown Days celebration. For KVNU News, this is Carter Chatterton.
And again, that email address is hydeporker@gmail.com. Clear skies through the next several days as daytime temps are going to stay right around the mid to low 90s with overnight temperatures staying around the mid 50s. I'm Will Fiore with your KVNU News headlines.
I'm Jim Basswell. Let's lead it off from the Bigs and a night to remember for Cody Bellinger at the ballpark in the Bronx.
High fly ball, right field. Tucker back. He's on the track. So is the center fielder who leaps, and that ball is gone. It's a 2-run home run by Bellinger, his 3rd home run of the night. Oh, what a night for Bellinger. It is 10-0 Yanks.
That's Michael Kay from the Yes Network. Cody Bellinger, 3 home runs, 6 knocked in, was robbed of a 4th home run. Yanks rolled the Cubs 11-0 for their 5th straight win. Bellinger batting .406 during a 16-game hitting streak. Those two teams today on ESPN Radio. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern. Cedar Rafaela, 2-run walk-off home run. Red Sox extend their winning streak to a season-best 8 in a row, 5-4 over the Rays. The Blue Jays keep their 2-game lead on the Yankees in the East, shaving the A's 7-6. Cal Raleigh, 37th and 38th home runs, moves within 1 of Barry Bonds' 2001 record for home runs before the All-Star break. Mariners over the Tigers 12-3. Shohei Ohtani hit McCovey Cove on the fly, but it wasn't enough. Willie Adames 2-run triple, the big blow. Giants fend off the Dodgers 8-7. Jason Adam got out of a bases-loaded jam in the 8th. San Diego's pen goes 4 1/3 scoreless. Padres beat the Phillies 4-2. Mets get a 3-run 8th-inning double from Mark Vientos, and they top the Royals 8-3. Sean Murphy, 2 mammoth home runs, 437 and 440 in the Braves 6-5 win over the Cardinals. Christian Yelich, Andrew Vaughn go deep. Brewers extend their streak to 5 straight, 8-3 over the Nationals. Yannick Sinner beats Novak Djokovic in straights. He gets Carlos Alcaraz, who outs Taylor Fritz. And it's the showdown of 1 versus 2 at the All-England Club for the Wimbledon title. Meantime, Amanda Anisimova against Iga Swiatek for the women's title.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Monday on This Morning, America's First News. Interest groups have a new way of getting noticed in Washington. Hear how their advertisements target the president. Also, young workers continue to give a thumbs down to becoming managers. Here are the main reasons they won't climb the corporate ladder. And how much you should be saving for college at every age. Monday on This Morning, America's First News. Monday morning from 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news, weather, and sports.
The Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
And KVNU News Time, now 8:36 on this beautiful sunny Saturday morning, is looking at a beautiful weekend. Going to be a little warmer than we had the last couple of days as temperatures are going to get back into the 90s. And of course, we were talking in the last half hour about watering. Definitely want to check those sprinklers this time of year, make sure that they're working. And, you know, it's not a bad idea if you haven't treated your lawn. There are some ways to be able to take care of your lawn, keep it greener, and water less.
My lawn right now looks as good or better than it did in April.
As we were coming out of the winter.
Yeah, so it's like 90s. I mean, it's the middle of July. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the forecast and I'm going 91, 94, 94, 95, 88. It's like, ooh, that's nice. 89. Yeah. And then I'm looking at like morning temperatures and it's like 57, 60 degrees. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Those are nice temperatures, but they're not like too cold that your tomatoes and peppers won't ripen up or anything. Mm-hmm. But we've used the Hydratane and a little bit of Back to Green on our lawn, and then we just fertilized with the new Pro Pete fertilizer. And got that really well watered in, and it's been about 10 days. And I'm telling you, my lawn looks so good right now. It looks really, really good. And some of our trouble spots where it usually kind of scalds a little bit on the south-facing slopes, and I've got a couple spots in the front where the sprinklers cover really well, but it's kind of compacted, and so the soil doesn't absorb the moisture quite as well. Those spots look amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, they look awesome.
And for people who are not familiar with Hydratane allows your plants to be able to retain more water.
Yeah.
It pulls the moisture
not the plants,
into the soil.
The soil.
Into the soil.
Yeah, and it's long lasting, so you get 90 days out of it. And so one application right now will last until October, believe it or not.
Yeah.
90 days is like, we're into October.
And so you're pretty much done. One more application and you're good.
And it's not a fertilizer, but what it does is once it gets into the soil, it binds to the soil. And that's very, very attractive to water, highly attractive to water. And so it pulls the water down into the soil. So we're talking even moisture, like dew that accumulates on the lawn in the morning. If there's some extra condensation from the little humidity, it'll pull that water down into the soil as well, too. So whether it's Mother Nature providing the moisture or whether your sprinklers are providing the moisture, it will make it more effective, and it will absorb it and hold it longer so you don't have to water as much. So we're noticing 30 to 40% less water to keep your lawn looking better than it was before.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing on how it works. And it works in conjunction with the fertilizer. It works with the humate as well, too. The humate doesn't break it down. And so the combinations of those products together really will keep your lawn looking great. And when your lawn is healthy and green, it's creating more oxygen, it's cooling the environment, and it's better able to pick up water and nutrient in the middle of summer when it's really hot. So instead of letting it scald, and of course we're mowing taller right now, and so the grass is a little shaggier than maybe what you like for a perfectly groomed lawn.
Yeah.
But it really keeps things cooler, and it keeps the soil cooler so it doesn't dry out as fast. So you just don't have to water as much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It
So
makes a big difference, especially in a year like this where we've got plenty of water here in Cache Valley, but the rest of the state is really dry.
Yeah.
And so we need to be as conscious of that and use as little water as possible to make that work.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, phone lines are open at 753 KVNU 753-5868 if you have a question, comment for Mark at Anderson Seed and Garden. Now, just before we get to next topic, remind everyone we've got the sidewalk sale happening in downtown Logan all day today until 6 o'clock, and make sure to stop by Anderson's.
Yeah, we've got some great deals going on for the sidewalk sale. So our shade trees, our flowering trees, our shrubs, our evergreens, our vines, and our roses, that all look great because they're all out underneath the shade cloth. So our plants look really, really good right now. They're all 20% off. So this is a great time to pick up some plants. It's not too hot to plant. So even if it's 95 degrees, 100 degrees, those plants will do better, I promise, in your soil than they will on the concrete at my store.
Under the shade cloth, yeah.
They should do a lot better. So 20% off. All of our nursery stock is what we'll call it, except our fruit trees are on sale for 25% off. So a little bit better deal on the fruit trees. And I've got a little bit of everything. So apples and pears and cherries and apricots and nectarines and peaches and plums. We've got a really great selection of fruit trees. They are 25% off right now at Anderson's. So some really great specials going on for the sidewalk sale this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. And then next week is our Mad Money sale.
Okay.
And we will probably keep those same sale prices going next week, but then you can use your Mad Money on top of that as well too. So you can get a better discount using the Mad Money that you've accumulated throughout the season for the money that you spent in the store. So for every $10 you spend in the store, you get $1 back in Mad Money, and then you can spend that during our special sales. And next week from Monday through Saturday is Mad Money season.
Okay.
Yeah, Mad Money sale. First Mad Money sale. So.
All right, 435-753-5868 is the phone number, 753-KVNU. We mentioned earlier as we were talking with Kathy, and we were talking off there this morning, one of our good listeners, in fact, one of our most dedicated listeners passed away this past week.
And we've been great friends with Gordon for a long time. And what really stands out in my mind for Gordon is he would always come in and he wanted to talk to me and get questions answered, but he was more of a friend than he was a customer.
Yeah.
And many years ago we did a class, and one of our employees, Michelle, did the class on fairy gardens. And Gordon was excited about it because his grandkids wanted to do it.
Oh.
And so he came and did the fairy garden class with his grandkids. And so there's all these women with their kids, or their grandkids, and there's Gordon with his grandkids doing the fairy garden class with Michelle. And so he did that class a couple times with Michelle. I don't know if it was like different sets of grandkids or how that worked, but he did that. And after that, after he got to know Michelle, every time he'd come in the store to come find me, he would make sure to stop and say hi to Michelle, because they'd become friends as well too. And it's just how thoughtful and kind Gordon was. And so we kind of wanted to dedicate the show to him today, because he won't be calling for the last caller of the year, which is kind of like his that was kind of his thing. Every year he'd call on the last show and try and be the last caller with the question in, or the first caller of the year. It was usually Gordon.
Yeah, and I remember one of the first times I had a chance to meet him, we were out doing a live radio broadcast, and Gordon, he he, of course, was in the Air Force.
Yes.
And then retired from the Air Force and started working at Bridgerland Technical College. And several of the employees here at the Radio Ranch for some of our sister stations had taken classes from Gordon.
Yeah.
And I remember I was doing this live broadcast at a business, and he came up to me and he starts asking about all these employees. And I thought, well, this is weird. How do you know all of these employees? Well, he had them as students.
Students, yeah.
And then every time we would be out, he would always want to check in. You know, how are these students doing? How's the student doing? He cared about everyone he met.
Yeah.
And you knew that he was one that, when he would call in, he wanted to know how you were doing because he really cared about it.
Absolutely.
About you. And,
absolutely. So
definitely one that I always had to joke with him because I think one time I said he was from Amalga, and he corrected me really quick. He's like, no.
From Newton.
Yeah. There's a big difference here. Yeah. I'm from Newton, not Amalga.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, he'd always keep us updated on Newton Dam and how the water situation was out there, and the mosquitoes as well too. So we got some great information over the years from Gordon, and we're absolutely going to miss him.
Yeah. And our thoughts and prayers are with his family. As not only was it a surprise to us to hear the news, but definitely a surprise to his family.
Yeah.
This was something no one saw coming, and it's just one of those things as you get older. You just never know when the ticker is going to stop.
Stuff can happen. So this week I took my daughter and a good friend, and we went to Colorado, and we backpacked in the Maroon Bells, which is just outside of Aspen and Snowmass, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And if you've never been there before, it's a great place to go because the mountains are not granite or limestone. They're made from kind of a clay type shale, and so the mountains are purple. And so it's gorgeous, and since it's a different kind of rock, as it decomposes, there's more soil on the mountain sides, and so there's plants like everywhere. So it's like green, and it's not just one color of green. There's like 5 colors of green because you've got like evergreens, and you've got shrubs, and you've got like the kind of prairie grasses, but then you've got all the wildflowers as well too.
Okay.
And so we did this hike, and my other daughter and her husband were supposed to come with, but they couldn't, so I had to bring a friend instead, and we contemplated, well, should we go? Should we not go? Should we go? Should we not go? And my daughter was just like, no, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, we've got to go because stuff can happen.
Yeah.
It's like maybe we won't be able to go another time.
Yeah,
it's like let's do it. It's like we're going to go. So we're trying to take advantage of every opportunity we can to go do things together because you never know when somebody's going to be gone, and you just got to cherish those moments and just go for it.
Yep.
Yeah, just got to go for it. So,
and I can definitely see Gordon up above getting his garden to grow.
Yep.
And he doesn't have to worry about mosquitoes like he did in Newton, and he doesn't have to worry about weeds.
Or weeds. Yeah, he's up there gardening with my dad.
Yep, absolutely. Well, let's take some phone calls. We have Denise joining us on the line from Smithfield. Denise, thanks so much for holding. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I have like 5 or 6 different pepper plants, different variety, from habanero to yellow bell, orange bell.
Got it.
And they're beautiful. They're 18 inches or plus tall, and they're beautiful green and bushy, but I have absolutely no blossoms.
No blossoms,
whatsoever.
no fruit. So, let's switch your fertilizer and go something with a higher phosphorus and a higher potassium to get them to really bloom and to start setting fruit. If the plants are big and lush and green and look amazing, they're probably getting plenty of nitrogen, and we just need them to flower a little bit more. So I'd switch to like a blooming formula, which is great for vegetables that produce fruit. And so it's good for tomatoes, it's good for peppers, it's good for squashes, melons, cucumbers, because they're fruit setters. And so we need to get those plants setting fruit. And a high potassium, which is the last number, and a high phosphorus, which is the middle number, is going to encourage more blooming. Magnesium helps as well too. So Epsom salts, great for roses to get them to bloom more. And you can do the same thing with the vegetables. So a higher magnesium fertilizer as well would be great. And warm temperatures are better for the peppers, so they like it to stay 90 degrees during the day and 75 or 80 degrees at night. They would like that better than our 50s and 60s that we're getting right now. So that will help too. So I keep my hot caps, which are bigger. I've got really big hot caps. I keep those on my peppers as long as I can because it really helps them set more flowers and set fruit faster. So like all my peppers that are about the sizes of yours right now, they're about 18 inches. I still have them in my aquadomes just for that reason, because they're kind of slow to get set in fruit sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. They're in my backyard. They get full sun during the day, but it gets a little cool in the morning.
Probably those
mornings
overnight temperatures.
And if they get a little shade in the afternoon too, that kind of slows them down a little bit. But let's go to like a higher phosphorus and potassium fertilizer. So like Bicor locally has their Pro Bloom, which has a high phosphorus but a really high potassium, and that really helps get the fruit set. And calcium.
Okay.
So calcium and magnesium. So I use that on my tomatoes because it helps with blossom end rot, but also helps on the peppers for the same thing. But it also gets them to set flowers and to set fruit quicker. So like a magnesium calcium combo with a high potassium and phosphorus would really, really help to get them going.
All right. Well, thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling in this morning, Denise.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And phone lines open, 753 KVNU 753-5868, and we have Kay joining us on line 2 out in Garland. Kay, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What could we do?
I am concerned about grass in my little asparagus pads. What can I do about that?
Yeah. When the grass gets in with asparagus, it is really hard to separate it out because you end up damaging your asparagus roots because the grass just like grows right all the way through it. And so there is a spray that you can use that will kill the grass and it won't damage your asparagus at all. And when it gets hot like it is right now and the grass is really like more mature, it takes a little bit longer to kill it, but it'll still work. And so probably your best option is either the over-the-top grass killer from Fertilome or grass killer from High Yield. And those will both kill the grass, but it won't damage your asparagus at all and won't bother you when you eat the asparagus as well. And so we've got that in stock all the time. If temperatures start to cool down later this summer or early fall, that's also a really good time to do it as well. And it usually takes a couple applications. So one application won't do it. We'll recommend to our customers that are using this product, say, hey, we're going to mix a surfactant with it. So a spreader sticker, you're going to mix with it because it helps it adhere to the grass. It doesn't just like run off, because sometimes water and the herbicide will just like run off the grass because of the waxy outer coating that's on there. So it needs an adjuvant, like a spreader sticker, to make it adhere and penetrate into the grass faster. So you mix them together, spray once a week for 2 to 3 weeks, and all of a sudden your grass will just all turn yellow and be dead, and your asparagus will be green and lush and perfect. So works great.
Okay. Thank you. And I have another question, if I can.
Yeah, absolutely.
About rose food.
Yeah.
I like rose food with high middle number.
Correct. With the phosphorus.
And systemic bug killer in it.
Right.
And I'm finding that is very hard to find.
You know, most formulations kind of changed a few years ago because of the high cost of phosphorus and potassium. So they kind of went to a higher nitrogen. The Fertilome rose food with systemic has a higher phosphorus in there. So I don't remember the analysis exactly, but I think it's like a 7-12-6. And so it's got that little bit higher phosphorus that encourages more flowers. It's got a lot of magnesium and iron in there as well too, to encourage some more blooming as well too. So the Fertilome rose food with systemic, it comes in like a 3.5 pound bag, which will cover like 32 roses. It does about 30 roses, so a quarter of a cup per rose. And that also comes in like a 10 or 12 pound bag as well too. So that's the one that I would recommend.
Because I like that also in my pots. I think it works well for my
hanging baskets.
Yeah, it's great. It's great for all your flowering plants, and it's got the systemic insecticide, which really works on aphids and it works on thrips and a lot of the insects that are attacking the plants. Very effective way to fertilize for a slow release type fertilizer, and provide insecticide control as well too.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling this morning, Kay.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, about 6 minutes left. Still time. We could take a call. 753 KVN Youth, 753-5868.
Are peas done yet?
Peas done.
Yep.
Beans are coming on.
My beans are flowering like crazy.
Oh, good.
Yeah, flowering. And then I noticed that the deer snuck in through my new fence and nibbled on part of my beans. I was furious the other night.
No.
And so then I went and started checking the perimeter, and there was a section where that was a little loose, and they probably did the army crawl underneath. I was like, stupid deer. Jeez. And the great thing about my new fence is it's tall enough that they don't want to jump over it.
Okay.
It's sturdy and it's great looking, but it only covers half the garden right now because we still got to do some more construction. And so it's only half done. And so we've kind of got the netting on the other side, and they were sneaking. They were sneaking under the netting.
The weak spot.
This is a darn deer.
Well, we were out with our corn, and we fertilized our corn about a week and a half ago.
Yep, I did mine.
And all of a sudden, it took off, and we had been using just a rainbird, and went out there, and I'm like, nope, it's time to start digging the trenches.
Yep. Got to do the deep water. Got to do the deep water.
In the last week, they put on another 9 to 12 inches.
Yeah.
It just took off.
That's great.
So.
Yeah. See, I did my corn too, like last week, and it's just taken off like crazy.
Yeah.
But I did the Bigfoot on 2 of the rows because 2 that were not coming along as fast as the rest. So I did the Bigfoot on those. So I went and watered each cluster of corn with the Bigfoot to get it inoculated with it. And it's almost caught up to the other
those 2
corn.
rows?
Yeah, those 2 rows have
amazing.
almost caught up. And we're talking a week.
Wow.
A week's difference. So I'm curious to see how those 2 rows perform from here on out, because they're in a little bit drier soil, and they hadn't been getting watered quite as well. So they were a little bit behind the other ones. And I that's where I had to put the new soaker hoses. But I didn't put the new soaker hoses on until last night. But in a week, that corn has almost caught up to the other corn.
I've still just been so impressed because we treated our new apricot tree with Bigfoot, and then our tomato plants and our peppers. And in the past, when I've always gone out in the middle of the heat of the day, seen those tomato plants just drooping, and the apricot tree was struggling. I haven't seen any of that.
Going crazy,
The apricot tree has put on about 1.5 feet of new growth.
Yeah.
It has just taken off. Yeah. And so
I've got winter squashes that have like good sized fruit on them already, and pumpkins as well too. And they all got planted and inoculated with the Bigfoot, and they are going berserk.
Yeah.
They're just going crazy.
It's amazing product. That's
awesome stuff.
Yeah. So we've got about 3 minutes left. We want to mention again the downtown sidewalk sale. The downtown is going to be the place to be all day today until about 6 o'clock tonight.
Exactly.
And there's some special sales going on during this sale.
And it's not too hot. There's been years where the sidewalk sale's been like 98 degrees. It's been like so hot. So having a little bit cooler temperatures is amazing for the sidewalk sale. And at Anderson's, we've got a special sale on all of our trees and flowering trees, shrubs, evergreens, vines, roses. They're 20% off this weekend for the sidewalk sale. And our fruit trees are 25% off. So we've got some really great deals out in our nursery section. If you need to add a plant or 2 to your landscape, or you just want to get a new rose, or it's time for some new trees, great time to come into Anderson's because they are on sale right now for the sidewalk sale. And then next week, we've got our Mad Money sale going on, and I would be surprised if we don't have the same deals going on our trees and shrubs and evergreens. And then you can use your Mad Money on top of that as well too. So stuff that's on sale already, you get the sale price, and then you can still use your Mad Money towards it. Yeah, so you can get some really great discounts. And it's our way of thanking our customers for coming in and spending money all spring. So for every $10 that you spent this spring, you get $1 back in Mad Money to spend, and you can use your Mad Money for up to half of your purchase And so, if you've got $20 in Mad Money, you can buy, $50 worth of product and use your Mad Money towards that and get it for $30 instead. So you can use it for up to half of your purchase.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Great way to go.
So, and also as we were talking at the first of the hour, great time to check your sprinklers, your watering.
Yeah, sprinklers.
It's not too late to treat your lawn with Hydrotain.
No, Hydrotain, and it's a good time to fertilize. So we recommend fertilization between the 4th of July and the 24th of July. So we are right there. So really good time to fertilize. Great time to apply Humate if you've got grass that's stressing or been damaged somehow. And then the Hydrotain will help make your water 30 to 40% more effective, more efficient than what it has been in the past, and it lasts for 90 days. So you've got some really great options to conserve water, but to still keep your yard and your landscape looking great.
Okay.
Looking really good.
All right. Well, thanks to all of our callers. And again, as we reflect on one of our great callers that we lost this week, Gordon, our thoughts and prayers are with your family, and look forward to someday doing a little gardening with him again.
Yep,
because he was definitely one that we have loved having as a part of the show, as we love having all of our listeners as part of the show. Thanks so much for participating with us for the Garden Guide, and we'll see you back again next week.
Covering all the news. Stay with 610 AM and 102.1